to be at our Saturday evening event on the lawn, which will be outside. So there will be no event on Friday evening for the vendors in the show. And at this time, I want to turn over the meeting to Deborah and staff. They're going to kind of lead us through this from top to bottom. And please be sure and ask any questions. Type them in. We will get to them no matter how many there are. Deborah?
Thank you, Lester. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time to be able to join us today. It's important for everyone to know that the health and the safety of all the SOHO Expo attendees is paramount to the SENPA Board of Directors and to the staff, and to the people that we work with at the Gaylord and with the Expo Group. For 5 decades, SENPA has engaged in attendees from the natural products industry to network, to bring learning opportunities from top leaders that we have in our industry, and to connect companies, including new products, as you all know, with the retail stores to enhance a family-friendly, that's what we push ourselves, family-friendly buying experience. The pandemic has not extinguished our spirit, but it did create the need to work to change how we network with each other and to evaluate the safety we put in place. So saying that, I'm going to give you a real quick update on how the state of Florida is doing. Our Governor, Ron DeSantis, has put us in phase 3, which is his safe, smart, and step-by-step plan. He currently has no travel mandates for the state of Florida, which saying that when we're in the stage, phase 3, we're also in an orange stage. He's very cautiously aggressive in how he's moving forward for our state, and he's issued some executive orders moving us forward. So saying that, he said that every business needs to be able to have the right to work, and that includes restaurants and some of the other facilities that we have within our state. There are mask mandates that are by county in the state of Florida. And it is at the discretion of the business if they ask you to have a mask on whenever you come in. The Gaylord will be able to speak to the mask mandates that they have in place, the safety mandates they have in place as we move forward. When you registered for this call, we also included a safety document. We had a code of conduct, and we had a social distancing, which we think is going to be pretty fun. We shared that with you. We also have them on our website, and we'll send you a follow-up. I'm going to turn it over to Stacy right now. You want to hit the high point, Stacy, on the safety documents that we gave?
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody, and good afternoon. As Deborah said and Lester said, we are looking forward to putting on a great show, but a safe show as well. We're calling it SENPA Safe. A couple of the documents that we have put together is our SENPA Code of Conduct. And what that is really a review of what we expect from our attendees, what we expect from you coming to the show, during the show, and after the show. Some of those things are, please monitor your health before you come to the show. Adhere to any restrictions or mandates in your area. And then on site, we are having a mask ordinance, things like washing your hands, keeping your social distance, those type of things. And then post-event, if anybody was to fall ill after they return home, we need you to report that to us afterwards. So again, the Code of Conduct is up on our website. You're welcome to read through that for all the things we have in place. The second document we have in place is our SENPA Show Safety Systems. And what that is what you can expect on site. Again, Code of Conduct is what we expect from you. And this Show Safety Systems is what you can expect from us on site. Things like we will be following the CDC, the state of Florida, and the Osceola County guidelines for any restrictions that are in place. We will be following the Marriott and the Gaylord Palms safety policies and procedures. They have their commitment to cleanliness that you can look up on their website. We have links to that as well. Face coverings are required in the hotel in all public areas for all guests and all associates. We highlight their cleaning procedures and things that's going to happen, such as what's happening in our education space and on our exhibit floor. So we are going to go further, deeper into that as we go along on this call, but that was just a quick update on that. One of the things that Deborah touched on was our SENPA Safe social distancing program. And this is a fun way that people at the show will be able to highlight to other people what their comfort level is with being in person with other people. We have, if you've looked at that on our website, or if you will send that out as well, we have our SENPA Safe that's green, and that means I'm all in. I'm all here with hand sanitizer. I'm here for high fives. We have our yellow, which means I'm okay with talking, but don't get too close. And then our red, which means I'm keeping a distance with a smile and a wave. And everybody will be able to pick the pin that designates their comfort level, and then that will be a great way for other attendees to show you how they feel and their approachability. That's just something fun we've put into place. So we're going to just review very quickly some of the things you can expect at the show. Let's start with registration. And Zelka, would you like to speak to that? And Zelka heads up our registration at the show.
Yes, hi. Hi, everybody. Okay, my name is Zelka Trevorik, and I take care of registration area. Registration desk will have plexiglass shields. All staff will wear a mask. Once you come to pick up your badge and scan your confirmation, you will receive a badge directly from the printer. We will avoid touching as much as possible. Don't worry if you don't have confirmation with you, just please make sure to bring your driver license so we can verify your identity and find you in our system. We will have a hand sanitizer for both for staff and all attendees, and we will clean workspace frequently. We usually give 1 or 2 show bags in a past per store, but with everything what's happening and to be less touching, you will have your own show bag this year. So the show bag will be pre-packed with show guide, sponsor mask, lanyard, and other show information already in it. You will pick your bag directly from the rack. And last but not least, we are also having SENPA Safe pins, like Stacy just mentioned, and you will pick one color of the pin depending on your comfortable level. And we are here for you. So if you need anything, you always can call us at our office, and that's it.
Thank you, Zelka.
You're welcome.
A couple of other things to know about the show. Let me just review these very quick. There will be some crossover once Gaylord and the Expo Group talk, but this is just to reiterate to you what we are doing. We are having our golf tournament this year. That will be at the Dizzy's Magnolia, and their rules are masks are required on site until you are out on the course. Once you are out on the course playing, then those masks may be removed during play. So that's just something to note for the golf. Things to know about education. What can you expect at the education sessions? All sessions will be in large ballrooms to allow for distance seating, so there will be no small breakout rooms. We have a new function we're going to do this year to cut back on any kind of paper and transferring paper in between people. We're going to do electronic education evaluations. That'll be a QR code you can scan at the session room, and it will take you directly to the speaker evaluation on your phone. So there's no filling out anything and dropping it in a box or anything like that. Also, we are doing electronic prize drawing entries. When your badge is scanned at each education session, you will automatically receive 1 entry into the prize drawings for Saturday and Sunday afternoon on the exhibit hall floor. There will be no paper tickets to fill out and drop in any kind of bucket or hopper or anything. The rooms for education will be cleaned and reset after each use, which is very important. You will be going from different rooms to different rooms, but they all will be cleaned in between the education sessions. For meals, you can expect tables spaced appropriately with no more than 6 chairs each. The attendant-served buffets will have socially distant lines, and you will be waiting at your tables until your table is called to the buffet to cut down on crowding. Again, the room will be cleaned and reset after each use. Our Saturday party that Lester was speaking about will be held outdoors, weather permitting, cross your fingers, and that's going to allow for a lot of distancing, but in an open air environment as well. For our exhibit hall, you can expect designated entrance and exit doors. There will be hand sanitizer stations throughout and 10-foot aisles throughout. Social distancing reminders will be put on stickers and signage around the exhibit hall. Again, prize drawing entries for each order placed. That will be done electronically as well with proof of order at the SENPA registration or SENPA booth. Saturday and Sunday prize drawings will be held at our SENPA booth on the floor, and it will be done electronically on a large screen so everybody can see, but also so that people throughout the exhibit hall can hear if their name is called, reducing a lot of crowding right around one area. Sampling will be allowed on the show floor, but we are asking that samples are either pre-packaged, covered, or if they can't be either of those, if it's something maybe you're cooking on site, we're asking that those be served from behind a plexiglass or some type of barrier where they're not out, where people can hover over them type thing. We are trying to be very conscious of gatherings. So we're trying to say we don't want to have large in-person gatherings at booths. We will have probably a designated section on the show floor where we can have gatherings if there is a company, an exhibiting company that's doing an event or doing a drawing. We can accommodate that in other places on the show floor so we can have more social distancing there. Let's see, I think that is everything that I wanted to go over, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the Gaylord Palms group so they can go over everything that the Gaylord is doing to keep you safe, everything from check-in to serving food.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carol Cooley, and I am the cleanliness champion for the hotel. It was mentioned that each of you have a link to our Commitment to Clean document. That is where it lists all of our enhanced cleaning standards that you can expect when you are at the hotel. So let's talk about our masks mandate. So Osceola County does have a mandate that all any guest or anyone that's in a public area, they are required to wear a mask, as well as it's a Marriott policy that all of our stars and guests are required to wear a mask. Now we do have a few exceptions where our guests can take off their masks. One is if they are in one of our F&B outlets and they're sitting at a table, they absolutely can take off their masks during that time. But at any time, if they're going to get up from their table, they are required to put that mask back on. If a guest is in our fitness center and they're exercising, they can take their masks off as well. And when they're at the pool, sitting at one of our pool chairs or in the water, they are allowed to take their masks off at those times. So those are some places where we do have some exceptions where you do not have to wear a mask. All of our stars at the Gaylord Palms have been trained on what our guidelines are. And when they see somebody without a mask, they are going to have a conversation to make sure that we are putting everyone's safety first. And they're going to ask our customers, our guests to put the mask on just to ensure that everybody is safe. Now, for any of our guests that maybe do have a medical condition that could hinder them from wearing a mask, we do allow those guests to wear a face shield because we want to protect the safety of our guests as well as our stars. So you can wear a face shield instead of wearing a mask. When it comes to our check-in process, we do have several different options for our guests. If they want to have a contactless experience and you are a Marriott Bonvoy member, you can use mobile key to check in, so you don't even have to have any type of contact with our front desk. If you aren't a Marriott Bonvoy member, we do have our web check-in process where 24 hours prior to your check-in, you will receive an email and they'll ask you to fill out some additional information so that when you get to the hotel, the only thing that will be required of you when you get to the front desk is to show your driver's license, you know, a photo ID, along with swiping your credit card. And very quickly you will receive your resort key. So that's very, very quickly. And then if you don't want to have that contactless experience, you absolutely can check in at the front desk. But as our guests are checking in at the front desk, we are going to ask you to practice social distancing, which is staying within no closer than 6 feet. And we also have barriers at the front desk, really to protect our guests and to protect our stars. So we have several different options for our guests that want to that are going to check in within our hotel. And then we do have some different options as well for our housekeeping. So for our guests staying in the hotel, our first, we're going to have a contactless experience where we're only going to clean your room once you check out of the hotel. However, there are some different options if you prefer. So if you would like to have your room cleaned during your stay, all you need to do is let someone at the front desk know, let anybody else within our hotel know, and we will make sure that we notate that and we take care of that for you. As well as maybe you don't want to have your room cleaned, but you need some additional towels, or you want to have your trash taken out. You can just communicate that through a chat. If you're a Bonvoy member, you could pick up the phone and let us know, or let any one of our stars know, and we will take care of that for you. So many different options from a housekeeping perspective. And then social distancing definitely is a priority for us. So you're going to notice throughout our hotel, we have tons of signage that's really going to make it very easy for you to understand what 6 feet look like. So all throughout the hotel, it's going to help you. There'll be signs to really help you practice that social distancing. At every one of our elevators, you're going to see that we're not going to have more than 4 people in the elevator at a time, and it's going to show you very clearly where everyone should stand, unless you were traveling as a family and you have a family of 6. You absolutely can have all 6 members of your family in the elevator. So you're going to see that type of signage all throughout our hotel and at our escalators. And then one other thing that is that you're going to see throughout the hotel is we have hand sanitizer stations all throughout the front of the house and our heart of house areas for our guests and for our stars. So those are just some of our enhanced cleaning standards that you are going to notice when you're here at the Gaylord Palms.
Thanks, Carol. Hi guys, welcome. I'm Julie Schreffler. I'm the Senior Event Manager with the Gaylord Palms that's assigned to the group. I've been on the group for a couple of years now, so very familiar with the event. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the meeting room sets and how we're going about socially distancing in there, and kind of the commitment to clean guidelines that we're implementing there as well. So in terms of social distancing in the meeting room sets, I know Stacy spoke to it a little bit, but all of your education rooms are going to be taking place in larger ballroom size meeting spaces. All of those will be set with social distancing in mind. So really 6 feet apart at all times, whether it's theater style seating, which is 6 feet apart. With our schoolroom style seating, if we do that, it's going to be 1 per 6 foot. With our rounds, it's going to be 6 per table instead of 10 per table. We're going to be cleaning after each and every single meeting and meal. Each night, our meeting rooms are actually electrostatic cleaned. And throughout the day, our meeting rooms are going to be cleaned by our clean team that you'll see in white uniforms. And they're going to be focusing on our meeting rooms, but a lot of the high contact areas such as escalators, elevators, door handles, bathrooms, things like that. So you'll see them throughout the meeting room space and the hotel space throughout your stay. Our meal functions, which will be different for you this year, are going to be all attended by banquet servers that are going to be behind a plexiglass screen. And all of them will have masks and gloves on, and they'll be assisting each of your attendees or guests with making a plate for what they want. And that's just to minimize contact with the food and to keep everyone safe. As they are entering the meal room, we're going to ask everyone to take a seat. And once they're seated, we'll invite them up to the buffet, and that's just to minimize lines at the buffet and to allow for social distancing while you're waiting to get your food. And everyone can come up for seconds as well. Once everyone's seated and served, you'll be able to come up again as well. Those servers will all be masked and gloved up and temperature checked. Our coffee stations are going to be contactless as well. We have push technology on each of our coffee stations. So instead of having to touch the coffee station, you'll be able to put your cup up and it will dispense liquid without contact, which is nice. Exhibit hall. So I know for exhibit hall, we have a lot of exhibitors that come in and out of our back of house areas. Just like in the past, you'll be able to enter through the loading dock on the load in and out days. The big difference this year is you're going to get temperature checked upon your arrival each day. So you'll check in as a visitor, get a temperature screening, you'll get your visitor badge, and each day you'll get a sticker that indicates that you've been temperature checked for the day. So you're not going to have to get temperature checked as you come in and out each time that day. It's just a one-time check. And we'll be doing that on the load out as well. And then on our show days, you'll be entering from the front of house as a normal guest rather than through that loading dock, because we won't have any security back there on those days. And that's just to make sure everyone coming in and out that back of house area has been temperature checked and is good to go. I think those are the major things for the meeting room set. Ross Barker, who's also on this call, is our director of events. I don't know if there's anything you can think of that I didn't touch on. Oh, you're on mute, Ross.
Nope, I think you covered everything, Julie.
Perfect.
All right, thank you, everyone. We're going to move on now to the Expo Group, who can give an overview of what their plans are as far as their safety protocol. They are our decorator. You may have known them in the past as Breedy, but they are now called the Expo Group and are working hard for us to make this show a success.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the intro, and thank you for letting us join you guys today. We are glad to be looking forward to a show this year. It's been kind of a slow year, so we really are looking forward to this. And again, my name is Dan Crawford. I'm with the Expo Group. And so we're the guys that provide the tables, the chairs, and do like the logistics for the load in and that sort of thing. And I just would like to note that the theme parks have been open since July, and they have had 0 report COVID-19 outbreaks associated with opening. So we know we can do this safely, and we just need to follow some new protocols and some safety procedures, but I think they can come off great. I have with me here today is my coworker, Fury Steelman, and I brought her here today because Fury is the Expo Group's health and safety expert. So she's GBAC certified, and so she knows a lot more about this. And I was kind of let her go into the safety protocol for the TAG employees, or I say TAG, that means the Expo Group. So thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, the Expo Group employees we're going to follow exactly the same protocols that the Gaylord has set up. Obviously, our team will come through the back door, will be temperature checked, and we will all have our PPE on, our masks, and we will have hand sanitizing. The Expo Group, the service center, we will have plexi screen up for the folks that are working in the service center should you all have any additional items that you need to order or any questions. We will be doing that touchless. As a matter of fact, you should have received the email with the exhibitor kit in it. Heads up, it will be a really good idea for you guys to go ahead and put your orders online so that you don't have to worry about coming back and touching anything. Our protocols, again, will be to follow the 6-foot distancing, and we will work with the team to make sure that we have proper signage around the exhibit hall on the floor. Dan and I were even having the conversation that we will make sure that we have signage where to enter the exhibit hall and where to exit, because we will have one way in and one way out. Anything else, Dan?
Yeah, I just want to note that that one way in and one way out is just from the loading dock area. And that's also not only safety for the COVID, but it's also safety with forklifts. So that's a procedure that we always follow, and we'll continue to do so. But we'll put up a sign so that exhibitors know when they're loading in, this is your doorway in, and when you're leaving, this is your doorway out. And it can change depending upon move in or move out. So just watch for the sign. Pretty simple. There will be 10-foot aisles. So, and in the aisles, we'll have markers on the floor. And so, and these will be spaced out every 6 feet or so that people can see how far they should be spaced out very easily. There will be hand sanitizers inside the hall at each aisle. So that will be there. We'll be providing that. And like Fury mentioned about the exhibitor service kit, it's best to order in advance. You get the advanced prices, you get your order done touchless. And while you're at the show, you can still order online. It's immediate ordering. You don't necessarily have to go to the service desk to order table, chair, or whatever. You can order right there on show floor. It's the order goes in immediately, and this can be done no problem. So just want to pass that on. Also, the move out procedures will be basically the same as the move in, except for during move out, there's a lot more trucks and exhibitors showing up to load out at one time. So we're going to have somebody at the loading dock basin area. So if you're an exhibitor with a pickup, you'll need to check in with our guy. He'll have a manifest. He'll write down the company name and your phone number, and then you'll need to go and park your truck. And the best thing to do is to go ahead at that time and check in with the Gaylord security guard and go ahead and have your temperature checked so you can get your badge and your sticker showing that you passed, and avoid the lines later in the day when the show closes. And there will be spacing there in the line so that everybody is a good safe distance from each other. And when we're ready to bring you into the basin to load, we will call you on your cell phone, and you can go to your vehicle and drive into the back of the hall and take a loading dock, or load in the basin there. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody. So Deborah, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thanks. We really appreciate all your input and sharing with everyone the safety measures that we have and we're getting put into place. I know Amanda, who is our marketing director, has been fielding some questions. Do you have a couple, Amanda, that you can share with us so that the panelists can answer?
Yes, I do. We've gotten quite a few, so thank you for asking questions. I'll address this first one to the Gaylord. Are you limiting hotel occupancy at all?
No, not at this time.
Great. And then let's go, we have some questions about education. So Stacy, if you can address these. You did mention, some of the protocols in place as far as spacing and things like that. That was covered by both you and the Gaylord. We were asked if the featured speakers will be required to wear a mask during their presentation. And also, do we want handouts to be provided during those presentations?
Once the speaker is up on the podium for their presentation, they may remove their mask for the duration of their talk. And then once they step down off the podium, we would ask that they put their mask back on. So the speakers will be able to give their presentation without a mask. As far as handouts, we still will take them. Our attendees do really like handouts. However, something that is a better alternative to that this year is possibly a link that we could do a QR code for, or something like that, to get them to them electronically. If you have to have paper ones, we will definitely put them in the room, but everybody's comfort level with taking paper is going to be different with that. So just use your judgment on what's best for your presentation, and we'll try to accommodate you how that works.
Great. Another question for the Gaylord, we have a couple actually. What restaurants will be open, and will the spa be open as well?
The spa will not be open. At that time, we have not opened it yet. But the majority of our restaurants will be open. We anticipate practically all of them being open. It's based on occupancy, but obviously during your program, we have a lot of attendees here, so we open them up as needed. But we anticipate pretty much all of them being open at that time.
Thank you. And also for the Gaylord, can you please talk about the air exchange in common areas, the convention center, as well as in guest rooms?
Sure. As part of our kind of commitment to clean that you heard Carol talk about earlier, a couple of things that we've changed just during this process is we've enhanced the air quality, obviously, inside the building by opening up the external pull from outside the hotel. So that just pulls more external air into the actual building and circulates it around. We've also increased the frequency of the amount of times we change our filters and things like that, which obviously helps towards the air quality in the building.
Great. Stacy, will you please address if there's a schedule provided for each day's events, including exhibitor setup, teardown, etc.?
We have our show at a glance, which goes over all the education events and the events of every single day throughout the show. That is listed on our website. But the best place to find setup, breakdown, and exhibitor information like that is going to be your exhibitor kit, which is listed on the website as well, or we are happy to send you out a link if you have not received that.
Great. And a question for about sampling and cooking on the show floor. Any abnormal cooking restrictions for the booths, as well as any space restrictions for the number of buyers at a booth at a time?
Go ahead.
There's no new restrictions in terms of cooking. It's the same as always. In terms of amount of buyers at a booth, it would just be as long as they're practicing social distancing. We don't want too many people that are not 6 feet apart. So that would be the only restriction, is we would ask that they would all be socially distanced while waiting to sample.
And we will be monitoring that on the show floor. We will be walking around trying to ensure that there are no gatherings of larger groups.
So to piggyback on that question, what measures will the Gaylord be taking to prevent interaction with other members of groups and social areas? For example, last year there was a children's Christmas program in between one of the education rooms and the dining room, causing large groups of children and the public in the same areas as the SOHO attendees.
Yeah, so as always, we try and separate groups just in normal times. To have their own space. Sometimes that's not possible. During this time, we've obviously looked at the agenda, and as we've placed the rooms in the meeting space, we've ensured that there isn't any overlap with groups next to each other during your program. So we don't anticipate that this year.
Great. Another question about sampling. Can you just repeat some of the protocols in place with sampling? What the size cups are, any procedures that we have with that, as well as are we requiring plexiglass for them, or coverings, or something like that?
Yes, our normal sampling is with the Gaylord is 3 ounces. It is our sample size, or you can work with the Gaylord to do full-size products, but there's fees involved with that. As far as the new rules, and I see the question says there was nothing in the exhibitor kit regarding plexiglass. We're not necessarily saying you have to have plexiglass at your booth. However, we're asking that if your samples can be prepackaged, that's one way. If they can't be prepackaged, and say you use the little plastic cups, samples go in that, then we're asking that you use some kind of lid on those cups. And if that can't happen, if it's something like you're cooking a pizza on site or something like that, then we're asking that maybe you use plexiglass or some kind of screen or barrier, or do that in the back of the booth and distribute from the back of the booth, instead of having samples laying out open on a table that faces attendees so that people are hovering over that. We want to control that. So we're just asking you to kind of take care with what you're doing, and covering the food or serving it from the back of a booth would be the best as far as that goes.
Great. Are we limiting occupancy for the show for either exhibitors or attendees? How many we allow on the floor, how many exhibitors we can have at a time?
No, from a hotel perspective, we're not basing our meeting space on capacities. It's just as long as we can allow social distancing. So right now we are not imposing any kind of capacities on that.
And the rooms that we have chosen, as far as the education rooms, are large enough to accommodate our group with the social distancing. You notice if you've been to the show in the past, we usually have smaller meeting rooms for some of our breakouts, but all of these are going to be larger. It's going to look a little bit different with chairs kind of scattered throughout, but that's the best way to keep that social distancing in place. So we have overestimated our room sizes.
Will the wine and beer sampling booths still be open?
Right now it is planned to be. We are still in talks with our wine providers, so I cannot promise you at this time, but it is supposed to be that way, yes.
This may be a better question for the Gaylord. Is ICE going to be happening at the same time as our show?
We will have our Christmas at Gaylord Palms event this year. We are not having ICE this year, just for some logistical reasons, but we will have Christmas at Gaylord Palms still occurring over the same dates that the event will be happening. We are expecting the attendance to be a little less because we do have limitations on how many guests can go through those activities per day, which is significantly less than what we've had in the past. So in terms of people that are there for that event, it will be significantly less than in the past.
And Julie, can I just step in here real quick? As far as the flow of traffic, can you address that?
So right now we're not anticipating us having to exceed our parking garage that's in the front of the hotel. That's our self-parking for any guest of the hotel, whether they're with SOHO or whether they're here for vacation. If we were to exceed that garage and have to go into our parking lot that we have done in the past, we would then still be expecting guests to come to the front of the hotel. We would not be admitting anyone through the back of hallway just because of the security measures that we have back there right now with our employees.
All right, kind of a funny question. Will Shrek try to hug attendees?
We won't have a Shrek this year, but even if we did, our costume characters would not be having any contact with attendees or guests of the hotel. If they're doing any kind of photographs, it would be with social distancing in mind.
Well, that's the last of the questions that we've received in the chat. If anyone has any final questions, if you want to ask those now, but if not, I can pass it back over to Deborah.
Thank you to each one of the panelists. You gave some very good information, and we hope as staff and as representatives, which we didn't announce Renee, who is our incoming president. So Renee, if you want to wave, you can say hello.
Hi. Look forward to seeing everyone.
We hope that we've given you some information, good sound information to be able to make your decisions if you are going to attend our event. If you do have questions, please note that the staff is available and each one of us have the opportunity to answer anything, any of your questions. If it's something that we cannot ask, we will make sure that we can try to find that out and get back with you as soon as possible. I want to thank again Julie and Ross and Dan and Fury and Carol for being on our call and giving us and our group here the opportunity to voice their opinions, ask their questions, and to be able to find some sense of hopefully some solace that we're doing everything that we can possible. So with that, is there any of the staff, do you have anything you'd like to answer? Okay, so Lester, I'll let you close.
I want to thank all the staff and everyone that's on all of our panelists. And I also want to thank everyone that took time to participate in the webinar. We hope that we've been able to answer all your questions. If you have other questions, please feel free to contact Deborah and staff at SOHO. We are SENPA. We want to make this the very best show possible. Not only because it's our 50th, not only because we'll be the only in-person show, but your safety is number one for us. So feel free, no question will not be answered. Feel free to contact us. And thank you again, everyone, for your participation.
All right, we'll see you at SOHO. Don't forget, nourishing the human connection is what, Amanda? In a socially distanced world. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Too.